Hello and welcome back to the Sports Pod with me, Freya Batkin. Today's topic is all about the 2024 Paris Olympics and Paralympics and assessing whether media companies have an agenda setting around gender. We'll be discussing media companies such as NBC, Channel 4, and the Olympic and Paralympic channels, who all use YouTube as a platform. So, with that in mind, make yourself comfortable and let's get started. To be able to make a fair judgment on this topic, we first of all have to discuss what agenda setting within a media framework is. Agenda setting refers to how media shapes views in society. In choosing and displaying news, editors, newsroom staff, and broadcasters play an important part in shaping political reality. So, in this sense, if a specific narrative is at the forefront in the media, we as a society are more likely to align our views with it. It's not only about quantity, but also quality aspects, such as what's the lead story on page one, placement in a website, and even the number of interactions on social media platforms. So, media companies don't purposely persuade the public. Instead, they inadvertently influence what we think about. As we all know, gender has always been a big issue in media coverage, concerning the inequality of the volume of stories and even the types of stories that are portrayed. So let's look a little bit closer at that. First of all, let's talk about men in the media. Society deems a man as strong, aggressive, and purposeful, and this concept is only exacerbated by the media, as commercial media sport sells boys and men a glorified package of what a real man is. And this can have an extremely damaging effect on the men both portrayed in the media and those who are reading. This concept holds men in a higher regard and has historically put men at the forefront of sports media. This was shown in the 2024 Olympics through the channel Eurosport, as their most viewed video was of a male Turkish shooter amassing over 6.5 million views, beating both the opening and closing ceremony viewership by over 3.8 million views. With this being the most viewed video, it shows the priority of male coverage and the influence of the media for this story to have been pushed the most. Articulated discourses of sport and masculinity is naturalized and thus difficult to disrupt. Now let's talk about women in media. Media sport is overwhelmingly male, covered by men, for men, and about men. Women's sports gets between 5 to 10% of coverage, and this has rung true since the dawn of sport. I recently had a look at well circulated newspapers such as the Daily Mail, and of roughly 10 sports pages, only 3 individual stories covered women, and none of them made the headlines. This is because of the gender stereotypes that fall over women, including their appearance. While men are hailed as strong with limited scrutiny surrounding their appearance, a woman's appearance is a widely discussed topic in media. Many scholars suggest that the media contribute to the development and reinforcement of ideal beauty and attractiveness through the repetition of appearance-oriented norms and values, which has a damaging effect on adolescent girls. Iona Meyer is a prime example of this, an American women's rugby sevens player who displays a strong, muscular woman winning third at the Olympics with her team, but coined on social media as masculine and ugly. It almost begs the question, are we too far down the line to change society's opinion on what a woman can look like because of media stipulation? Having said that, when it comes to the 2024 Olympics, media coverage appears to be equal for women. On the Eurosport YouTube channel, women make up 9 of the top 20 viewed videos, amassing almost a billion views on the videos collectively. Women have also been conditioned into more artistic sports like gymnastics or dance that elevates their femininity due to media stereotypes, with contact sports like boxing and rugby being less ideal for the average woman. But on the YouTube channel for Eurosport, the most viewed video is of a female boxer, begging the question, are we changing as a society? But then, no. We come straight back to the topic of appearance, as the video surrounds Algerian boxer Aman Khalif, who was hounded in the media for her masculine appearance, even leading to questions of her birth sex. Speaking of which, we have to discuss LGBTQ athletes who have gained almost no notable coverage throughout these Olympics. On the Channel 4 YouTube channel, which covered the Paralympics, from a total of 511 videos, there was zero covering an outright LGBTQ athlete. By reduced amounts of coverage, what does this teach us about the importance of LGBTQ individuals? If a topic is suppressed, we as a society deem it unworthy of coverage. If sexual orientation is not discussed by the media, then it becomes a non-subject, a taboo, creating total exclusion. In my opinion, the 2024 Paris Olympics and Paralympics did have an agenda setting on gender. Although maybe not as in your face as we may think, it's still there through the types of stories covered. The female stories highlighted a kind of surprise for their strength, and then male stories had the most viewership. And that just indicates that gender is still a prominent agenda setting in media. Gender agenda setting has a deep rooted history in the media, and this is not something that will likely change soon. Even though the viewership of the sports at the Olympics and Paralympics this year were reasonably equal, the most viewed videos were still highlighting male athletes, and the comments underneath videos about women devalued their athleticism. So it's time to have your say. What do you think? Was there an agenda setting around gender at the 2024 Olympics and Paralympics? Let me know down below. Thank you so much for listening and watching. I'll see you next week with another installment on the Sports Pod.